Allegedly, the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album.
I love that one.
Well, it's potentially a confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Cathy White.
What?
Yeah, buckle up. On August 28th, 2011, Beyonce announced her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs.
Iconic.
On January 7th, 2012, Blue Ivy was born into this world. In 2016, Beyonce dropped Lemonade. Now, as we all know, Lemonade was a true album about infidelity. Jay-Z was rumored to have a very long-time mistress. It was well known in the industry. People knew of Cathy White because of Jay-Z, okay? Yikes. So here's where it gets a little crazy. Cathy White was known to be pregnant in 2011. Shortly after giving birth, Cathy died mysteriously in her apartment of a brain aneurysm.
I have a feeling this is related.
Okay. Now, even though we saw Beyonce's bump publicly, there's a video of Beyonce sitting down for an interview and her whole stomach just deflates in the video. And it's very weird.
This is crazy.
If you listen to Daughter, the song completely illustrates a confession. The lyrics in the song say, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do." So fans are speculating that Beyonce had Cathy White after Cathy White had the baby and claimed the baby as her own, and that baby is Blue Ivy.
We're finally pulling back the curtain, sis. And the story involves two names that have fueled whispers for over a decade. Blue Ivy Carter, Beyonce's firstborn and the self-styled princess of hip-hop, and Cathy White, the young publicist the blog's claim was silenced before she could spill Jay-Z's deepest secrets. The way these two names have been linked online still screams cover-up to some corners of the internet. Blue Ivy arrived in 2012, but she was making headlines long before her first cry. Beyonce's 2011 VMA appearance, where she rubbed her baby bump like a mic drop moment, became one of music's most iconic pregnancy reveals. Yet almost immediately, skeptics swarmed. They scrutinized TV footage, pointed to a supposedly collapsing bump, and spread surrogacy rumors. More than a decade later, debates over whether Beyonce carried Blue Ivy herself still pop up in comment sections. Enter Cathy White. For those unfamiliar, she was a young publicist who gossip blogs alleged had once been romantically linked to Jay-Z. According to online chatter, she had explosive information, not just about infidelity, but about secrets that could shake the Carter empire. Then came 2011. Just as Beyonce's pregnancy glow dominated headlines, Cathy White reportedly died of an aneurysm at only 28. To conspiracy-minded fans, the timing felt uncanny. One moment Beyonce is celebrating new life, the next the woman allegedly tied to Jay's mess is gone. That's when internet sleuths went into overdrive. Some insisted Cathy was silenced. Others thought her death was a warning. And when Blue Ivy was born months later, those two narratives merged. In their eyes, the birth and the death became halves of the same mystery. The Carters, however, never entertained the speculation. They presented Blue Ivy as nothing but a blessing. Jay-Z even released Glory days after her birth, referencing a miscarriage they'd endured before her arrival. A narrative of heartbreak, then miracle. End of story, but the internet didn't move on. Under every polished family photo Beyonce posted, threads about Cathy White and hidden truths resurfaced. Now, years later, Blue Ivy is stepping into her own spotlight as a teenager, while Cathy White's name still hangs like a ghost in the Carter fairy tale.
You know, what happened to her? This was just a beautiful, young, seemingly healthy 28-year-old woman. I was told that she didn't have any health issues, you know, and it was very shocking to hear. And her colleague did not know what happened to her or how she died or why she died, but all she knew is that she was...
When it comes to managing public perception, few do it better than the Carters. Beyonce and Jay-Z built their empire not only on unmatched talent, but also on meticulous image control. So when Blue Ivy was born, they weren't just welcoming a child. They were, at least according to online chatter, crafting a narrative. The official story was polished to perfection. Beyonce, the radiant mother, holding her miracle baby after a miscarriage, Jay-Z celebrating fatherhood on Glory, the couple cementing themselves as Black royalty. Every magazine spread, every red carpet shot, every carefully chosen glimpse of Blue Ivy reinforced that image. No messy paparazzi leaks, no baby shower drama, no alternative versions allowed. To the world, Blue Ivy symbolized a love too strong to shake and an empire too solid to crack. But while the Carters spun perfection, the internet whispered a different story. The surrogacy rumors refused to die. Commenters dissected Beyoncé's 2011 Australian interview, where her belly appeared to fold as she sat down. They claimed the pregnancy was staged, that someone else had carried Blue Ivy, and that the VMA announcement was a masterfully planned distraction. In their minds, the official spin was miracle motherhood. The unofficial spin was smoke and mirrors. Enter Cathy White. On paper, her death in 2011 was a tragic aneurysm. In mainstream coverage, she was simply a young publicist gone too soon. But the blogs painted another picture. They labeled her Jay-Z's alleged long-term side piece, a woman who supposedly knew far too much about his personal life and was allegedly ready to talk. According to gossip pages at the time, Cathy wasn't just a fling. She allegedly had insight into Jay's movements, his lifestyle, and the skeletons he wanted buried. Then came the timing that still fuels conspiracy threads today. Cathy died at just 28 in August 2011. Weeks later, Beyoncé walked onto the VMA stage, rubbing her baby bump in one of pop culture's most iconic reveals. To conspiracy culture, that sequence wasn't coincidence, it was choreography. The other woman exits, the chosen heir enters, and the Carter image is preserved. This is the split the public has watched for years. On one side, the Carters' carefully guarded brand, Blue Ivy as the golden child, and Cathy White's name scrubbed from the official story. On the other, the internet's underground narrative, linking Blue Ivy and Cathy White in endless threads about timing, power, and what might have been hidden. Even now you can see it in real time. Every time Blue Ivy wins an award or commands the stage alongside her mother, the official story is reinforced. Look at this talented child destined for greatness. But scroll the comments, and there's always someone resurrecting Cathy White's name, keeping the conspiracy alive. That's the thing about spin. The Carters can guard their image like Fort Knox, but the internet's memory doesn't fade. They buried Cathy White's name in silence, but in doing so they ensured her ghost stayed tied to Blue Ivy's story forever. Why does this connection persist? Partly because Jay-Z's track record with women has never been squeaky clean. Before he was half of the Carters, he faced years of cheating rumors, industry flings, and whispers about women whose names never made the glossy profiles. Cathy White remains the most persistent of those whispers. She was young, ambitious, and well-connected in New York's entertainment scene. Pretty and plugged in, she moved in the circles where Jay-Z operated. The blogs swore she was his longtime mistress, the woman he'd sneak away with even as he built his empire with Beyoncé. They alleged she wasn't just a bystander, but someone who held information capable of denting Jay-Z's reputation. End 2011. Cathy dies, Beyoncé announces her pregnancy, and the narrative resets. To them, it looked like a carefully choreographed handoff. The removal of a liability followed by the unveiling of an heir. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's pregnancy remained under a microscope. People insisted the bump folded, that she wore prosthetics, that a surrogate carried Blue Ivy. Beyoncé tried to clap back with documentaries and interviews, but the rumors never fully disappeared. Cathy White's ghost only made them louder. And Jay-Z's own later admissions of infidelity didn't help. His 444 album was widely interpreted as a confession of cheating, prompting fans to look back and say, "See?" He told on himself, which only made Cathy White's story feel more believable to them. Put all the pieces together. Jay-Z's history with women, Cathy White's alleged affair, her sudden death, Beyoncé's contested pregnancy narrative, and the dots practically connect themselves for conspiracy theorists. In their eyes, Blue Ivy wasn't just born into fame. She was born into a story woven from secrets, scandals, and the memory of a woman whose name was supposed to disappear but never.
Question number one. None of Cathy White's family knew that she was pregnant? too. None of the doctors, not even the morgue that she was brought into, did like a cavity search to see. Even when they find out people are pregnant when they're it's like, oh, it's times two because the person you was pregnant. But you would have seen that there was a removal of a body, a delivery of a baby. None of her friends, no one questioned anything at all about what happened to her baby. We had a funeral for her and no baby. I really am starting to think all this is a bunch of hocus pocus.
Before we crown ourselves detectives, it's worth zooming out. The Carters aren't the only celebrities whose family legacies have been tangled up with secret kids, hidden partners, or conveniently timed scandals. This kind of story has floated through celebrity culture for decades, and each time the pattern looks familiar. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger. For years, he projected the image of a picture-perfect family man with Maria Shriver. Then the bombshell dropped. He had a secret child with a housekeeper who'd been growing up in plain sight. Overnight, the myth of a Hollywood power couple crumbled into a hidden family empire. Or look at Drake. He tried to keep Sophie Brusso and their son Adonis under wraps until Pusha T exposed him. Suddenly, the world knew, and Drake had to pivot from secrecy to Dad of the Year mode. Sound familiar? A man hiding skeletons until public pressure forces the truth. Even Steve Jobs, Apple's icon, denied his daughter Lisa for years, even after DNA confirmed it. His tech empire was built while pretending she didn't exist. Power makes people think they can bury the truth. But secrets always crawl back, and that's why Cathy White's story feels different. Unlike Schwarzenegger, Drake, or Jobs, she didn't get to tell her side. She never went on TV, never released a tell-all, never posted her receipts. She died at 28, right when Whispers said she was ready to talk. Her name hits differently because it's not just scandal, it's silence. Flip the narrative, though, and a less sinister picture emerges. Aneurysm strikes suddenly, brutally, and without warning. Maybe Cathy wasn't silenced at all. Maybe she was simply unlucky. Maybe Beyoncé really did carry Blue Ivy herself, bump and all. Perhaps the conspiracy isn't evidence of a cover-up, but of how little people trust perfection. When a celebrity family keeps everything so guarded, fans fill in the blanks with their own scripts. Still, perception is everything. Once the public smells mystery, the truth stops mattering. Arnold will always be tied to the housekeeper. Drake will always be clowned for hiding his kid. And the Carters, no matter what an autopsy said or what baby photos show, will always have Cathy White's ghost linked to Blue Ivy's name.